Good evening, everyone. Please stand for the flag salute. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing while Councilman Sarah leads us in prayer.
Heavenly Father, you have entrusted in us the responsibility of watching over our community. We ask that you instill in us a sense of humbleness. Let us fully understand the power and strength of our words so that we may use them to help, to heal, to build, and to create something meaningful. We ask that you steady our hands and steady our hearts and guide us so that we may truly fulfill the expectations and duties of our sworn positions. And help us to always act with honor and respect for our community and for our fellow members. Amen.
Amen. This is to advise that meeting notices covering this meeting have been sent and posted as required under the Open Public Meetings Act. We actually opened the meeting at 5 o'clock and went into executive session to discuss personnel litigation, potential litigation, and contract negotiations. At this time, I'd ask our solicitor to provide any additional information regarding those items that he can at this time.
Among the items that council discussed in executive session, there is the issue of the status of current contract negotiations. The manager reported to council in regard to a series of negotiations. Among those was the negotiation with the lifeguards union. An update was provided. Additional information will be made available in that regard when that contract is concluded. It's anticipated that that could be within the next 15 to 30 days. Similarly, the manager provided information in regard to negotiations with the telecommunicators. Additional information will be made available when that matter is concluded. It's anticipated that that may be within 30 to 60 days. The manager also reported in regard to negotiations with the PBA and the IAFF. Those matters are ongoing. There is no specific date that we anticipate the information will be made available, but as soon as those are resolved, such information will be shared. A matter of personnel and contract was also discussed that touches upon certain drug policy testing procedures. Additional information will be made available in that matter this evening when City Council considers Resolution 2015-104. Previously, the City Council had authorized the leasing of certain parking lots. A contract report was received by Council from the manager in regard to one of those lots. The Council gave direction to the manager in regard to a current negotiation of a renewal. Additional information will be made available in that matter when concluded, which is anticipated within the next 30 to 60 days. Another contract matter was discussed, specifically the nature of the future contractual relationship that will be put in place in regard to the operation of the golf course. Council received information from the manager relating to consultation with the golf consultant that the municipality has retained. Council provided certain guidance to the manager, who will continue those discussions with the consultant in an effort to determine what the future relationship between the city and management firms will be. Additional information will be made available when those discussions are concluded, which is anticipated within the next 60 to 90 days. There was a matter that was presented as potential litigation dealing with a public right-of-way of the municipality. That public right-of-way is actually a waterway where the water rights are controlled by the city. Discussion was had and a decision was made for the manager to enter into negotiations with certain parties in an effort to try to resolve that matter and create an overall contractual situation which will resolve and avoid any potential litigation. Additional information will be made available in that matter, again, upon conclusion, which is anticipated in the next 60 days.
Thank you, Fred. Okay, at this time, we need to approve the council meeting minutes of 12/17/14 and 12/29/14, the executive session minutes of 4/15/15. We have a motion and a second, please.
So moved.
Any additions or deletions to the minutes? Seeing none, could we have roll call, please?
View,
I abstain from 1217 of 14 and 1229 of 14, and I approve 415 of 15.
McClay,
Yes.
Bacardi,
Yes.
DeLucre,
Yes.
Sarah,
Abstain on 1217 and 1229, yes on 415.
Mayor Gunther.
How about me?
Oh, sorry. Tried to forget.
Whiz. You want me to go home now?
Simpson,
I don't know, I'm confused.
Yes.
Mayor Gunther.
Yes.
Motion
You
carries.
talk too much, and then you know who's the next person.
Next, we move to the approval of the requisition list, operating expenses, and payroll. Can I have a motion and a second, please?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, could we have roll call, please?
View,
Yes.
McClay,
Yes.
Bacardi,
Abstain, I didn't have a chance to study it.
DeLucre,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Simpson,
Thank you, Lynn. Yes.
Mayor Gunther.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, next we'll move to public comment on agenda items only. If you wish to speak on any of the agenda items at this time, please step forward, state your name and address, and use the microphone. Mr. Pucci.
John Pucci, 100 Sheridan Square. Good evening, Mayor
Good evening.
and City Council. Number 17, amending code as it relates to four-wheel drive permit fees for veterans. I'm not too sure what the supplemental information is because as of 8 o'clock this morning, the agenda wasn't on the website yet, but I'm anticipating good things from conversations in the past. And if that's the case, I support the half-price permit fee for the veterans. And I thank you in advance from the 5 veterans organizations in Brigantine, which are the Brigantine VFW, the Brigantine American Legion, the Brigantine Sons of the American Legion, the Brigantine Elks Veterans Committee, and also the Brigantine Veterans Memorial Committee. Thank you very much.
Thank you, John. Okay, anyone else? Yes, Mrs. Phillips.
Ann H. Phillips, 308 27th Street. Okay, Resolution 93, I believe it's item 18, the Meadowbrook Morgan contract. This agreement, the approval of which is the subject of this resolution, is not attached as stated in the resolution. It's missing in the public, so the public obviously has no idea of what are its contents. Please reveal those to taxpayers before you vote on this resolution, and also bring us up to date on the ABC application. It should be in there, it's not. And actually, the agenda too was late in being put on the computer. So that was sometime later this afternoon before it was even available. Thank you. So we'd appreciate it if you would comment on this contract.
Thank you, Ms. Phillips.
You know, the agenda was so large, we were having problems with emailing it, and that was the issue. So we had to take
So
some of the backup information.
we
off.
had difficulties getting this agenda posted on the website, and, you know, we're working through it. We met with the web company that's helping us. When it gets to the size of this agenda and some of the attachments, it becomes difficult. We will endeavor and continue to work on doing our best to get the agenda posted on the website. However, we encourage, especially when the weather is nice like now, if you can come in, the agenda, as soon as it is prepared, it is ready and available at the clerk's office. Again, we will continue to post it for the convenience of everybody, but, you know, sometimes there's technical difficulties. We do our best. We'll continue to try, but feel free to come in and visit Lynn and get your copy of the agenda.
Thank you, Ed. Okay, any other comments on agenda items? Okay, seeing none, we're going to close the public portion and move to ordinance number 7 of 2015. It's the public hearing and adoption to amend the beach rules, an ordinance amending Chapter 105-19 of the Municipal Code of the City of Brigantine, providing for rules and regulations for use of beaches. We have a motion and a second, please.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, at this time, I'll open the public hearing. If anyone would like to speak on this ordinance, ordinance number 7 of 2015, and this deals with the use of personal portable toilets, and the disposal of waste from portable toilets, as well as refueling jet skis, boats, or motorized equipment on the beach. Okay, seeing no public comment at this time on this ordinance, I'll close the public portion. Any discussion by council members?
Yeah, just a few things, Mayor, thank you. The Beach Committee, of course, was very much in support of this, and I'm anticipating passage by council. On behalf of the Beach Committee, I want to thank the other members of council for considering this, and also note that the discussion initially focused on the personal portable toilets versus the group portable toilets. And added to that was a provision which I think is also necessary and a good addition, which is prohibiting its fueling or refueling jet skis or boats on the beach. Again, a practice I'm not sure how widespread it is, but if it happens once, that's once too often.
Okay, thank you, Rick. Okay, any further discussion by council members? Seeing none, could we have roll call, please?
View,
Yes.
McLean,
Yes.
McCarty,
Yes.
DeLucre.
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Simpson,
Yes.
Mayor Gunther,
Yes.
voting carried.
Okay, we move to ordinance number 8, which is an introduction appropriating $3,817,609 and authorizing the issuance of the same amount in school bonds and notes for various school improvement projects. We have a motion and a second, please.
So
I'll make
moved.
that motion.
Second.
Okay, this is authorizing the school bonds. And these are for various projects at the Brigantine Elementary and Brigantine Middle School. They include upgrading the mechanical systems, replacement of access doors, crawl space improvements, and ventilation, drainage, and HVAC improvements to the schools. It should be noted that the school will be receiving a 40% grant to offset the overall cost of these projects, but this has been requested by the school board and the Board of School Estimates. This is the concurring resolution to authorize the debt.
So you're saying that 40% of the $3.8 million would be a grant?
There is, yes, and well, there's actually more, there are some unexpended bond proceeds in the next ordinance.
Right, but
So the total project, 40% of that is the grant.
40% of the 3.8, or when the $1.2 million comes off?
4 point,
It's almost 5 million, yeah.
I have the notes here from the
So
School
it's-
Board of Estimates
it's
meeting. The
40%
total
of
project is
3.8.
$5 million. And if you deduct the money we have left over from earlier capital projects, that's already deducted. And that's where you get the 3.8 million. But 40% of the 3.8 million is funds we will be receiving from a grant. So we're actually only bonding, once we receive the state funds, we're only bonding new debt, 1.7 million.
But are we obligated to put this language in it instead of the exact amount that we have to bond for?
You have,
This is the authorization to do the work. to
Oh,
spend.
okay.
So you have to authorize the total amount. How we fund it is different. So if we fund a portion of it with grants, the other portion we sell.
Do you know
Notes.
if the grant's up front, or do we have to front the money and then?
you have to provide.
My
the-
understanding is it's a reimbursement.
Okay, thank you.
One note, I had a conversation today with Ed that'll be a recurring theme tonight. And I'd asked him if he would reach out to the school, and he's agreed to do that. In fact, maybe already has done that. Reach out to the business administrator for some more information about the particulars of the projects. I know that in the bond ordinance, we identify generally the projects to which that 3.8 is projected to go. We don't really have that same information with respect to the remainder of the money, the 1.2. But in a more general sense, I would like to see whatever it is the school has in terms of its capital plan and any analyses that they've done in terms of the need for these particular capital projects at this point. Not that I have questions about it, but $5 million is a significant amount of money, and I think we always want to make sure that we're spending the money prudently on necessities rather than perhaps things which aren't quite necessities but are more wish list things.
I think if you look at the projects and the improvements that are listed, these are all maintenance types of projects that have to be done. And I believe one of them is upgrading the fire alarm system as well, so, and ADA compliance. I did speak to the superintendent today, and the HVAC improvements are imperative in that they continue to have problems with that system causing leaks throughout the building, and they had another coil break today. So it's imperative the work gets done. There's nothing in here, but obviously we can get that list and look at their long-range facility plan as well as part of it. But the description to the Board of School Estimates and the information we were provided. I also have to note that this is significant to get a 40% grant in that the state has not released construction money for several years. This is one chunk of money that it is important to take advantage of at this particular time. It's not debt service aid, it's actually a grant. So I think an opportunity to get a lot of work done at a 40% discount.
And everyone's in favor of grant money, and put myself at the head of that list. The information I'm looking for, though, I think probably, almost certainly already exists and should not be much of an imposition on the school administration to be able to provide us a little more detail.
Okay, any additional discussion? Okay, seeing none, can we have roll call, please?
You,
Yes.
LeClay,
Yes.
Ricardi,
Yes.
DeLucre,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Simpson,
Yes.
Mayor Gunther,
Yes.
motion carried.
Okay, ordinance number 9 is an introduction and appropriating certain unexpected proceeds from the sale of previously issued bonds and notes to finance the cost of additional capital improvements to Brigantine Elementary and Middle School buildings, and taking related actions with that project. We have a motion and second, please.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? Okay, seeing none, could we have roll call, please?
You,
Yes.
LeClay,
Yes.
Ricardi,
Yes.
DeLucre,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Simpson,
Yes.
Mayor Gunther,
Yes.
motion carried.
All right, next we move to ordinance number 10, an introduction to removal of handicap parking space at 332 13th Street South. Can we have a motion and second, please?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, can we have roll call, please?
You,
Yes.
LeClay,
Yes.
Ricardi,
Yes.
DeLucre,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Simpson,
Yes.
Mayor Gunther,
Yes.
motion carried.
Ordinance number 11 of 2015 is an introduction amending the development fee ordinance as it relates to COA fees. We have a motion and second, please.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, and this is an ordinance that would allow for us to not charge the COA fees for properties that, redevelopment fees for properties that were damaged as a result of fire, flood, or natural disaster. This is something that we discussed at our last meeting to move forward and once again to provide less of a financial impact on the Sandy victims. If in fact we've collected any of those fees, they will be refunded. Okay, any further discussion?
Just one question. What happens if someone has a structure fire unrelated to anything, just a structure fire? Does that mean that they can put in for this, or are we zeroing it in on people who were affected by Sandy?
It says fire. Yeah.
I know we had fires related to Sandy, but what I mean is, outside of the scope of the storm, does this leave us open to that problem?
My understanding is if there is a building that is totally destroyed by fire and has to be torn down and rebuilt, that it would be exempt from the development fee.
Which only makes sense. You're not actually, it's not a development, it's a replacement of a unit that was destroyed by fire. So
But,
I
you
think
know,
this discussion's been had in other communities as well. And
So
How far back are we gonna go on refunding people their money?
to,
Well,
On-
The Sandy,
by fire,
since Sandy.
Since Sandy.
And any refunds that may result if this ordinance is passed would be done by a resolution and brought to council identifying the properties and the amounts that were collected.
But-
That would be subsequent to any adoption of this ordinance.
Okay. Are the COA fees are in relationship to the cost of the structure, correct, or the project?
That is correct.
So-
Not the cost of construction, but to the value of the improvement.
Of the improved project.
That's
So, are we hurting ourselves? Say someone has a building that goes down that's worth, theoretically, never happens here, $100,000, and it's replaced by $1 million structure. Do we really want to limit it to I think we need to limit it to the people who are affected by Sandy, but if any fire that happens falls under this in the future,
if you look at,
isn't that hurting us?
I think when you look at the affordable housing legislation, it's a development fee for a new unit, essentially.
On an
So if
undeveloped-
someone buys a house and tears it down and rebuilds a house, that's a new unit for that. But someone loses their home as a result of an act of God, a natural disaster, or any a fire or something like that. I see it as being a different situation. They're not looking to profit on it or develop it. They're looking to live in it and recover their dwelling unit. So I don't think we're talking about a lot of properties here. I mean, even the fire damaged properties, if they're rebuilt, wouldn't fall under this, right? It would have to be completely,
That's correct. It would have to be demolished completely and then rebuilt.
so, I mean, Chief, I don't know the last home that you had that was fire damaged, completely torn down and rebuilt. Normally, you put them out fast enough that it's,
Probably the one on the bay.
Yeah.
In South End. Atlantis Cove.
Right.
or Beach Cove or wherever it was. Ship Answer.
So I'm clear, maybe I misunderstood some of the discussion. Is this ordinance intended to be retroactive by its terms? No, Fred is shaking his head no, which I thought was the answer.
No, this is prospective, it's not retroactive. If council wishes to engage the concepts that are expressed here to previous reconstructions, you'll have to do that by a separate action.
Which would be a resolution?
Yeah, you could do that by resolution.
So could that be something on a case-by-case basis as people identify themselves that a year and a half ago they were in this situation and paid the fee?
I
Hypothetically.
assume that, but I also suspect we already know how many there are of those.
That's right. So we are honing in on the exact number. There, as of a month ago, there was about 13 properties that fall under this provision as a result of Sandy.
Ed,
There may be 15 now, but
refresh my memory, wasn't DCA surprised that we were collecting these fees?
the DCA
They were
was-
actually surprised that we were collecting the fees for.
So this is language that actually exists in the DCA, the current model ordinance for the development fees. It did not exist at the time Brigantine introduced and adopted the ordinance. So it is something that is there, and yes, when we received questions about it, We reached out to the DCA, and they were surprised that we were collecting COA fees on homes that were torn down as a result of Sandy.
So this brings us into line with the overall,
That, and I
intent of the
think
DCA.
the intent is the key. It was, when you're developing, that's one thing that maybe comes
Right.
under COA, but if you're rebuilding, whether that's new or not, as a result of a natural disaster or an unplanned event, like a fire, that's not necessarily development, that's rebuilding a place for you to live.
Ed, I have a question. Does this include structures that the city demolishes?
Well, if the owner changes, I would, you know, that, you would have to sell it, right, at some point.
Yeah, so I would say not, because, you know, at the point the city demolishes it, I think it's likely a new owner would come in. In fact, I'm trying to go through my head on those properties, and I think they're all in this bank foreclosure state, so I think there will be a new owner, so I think that would be a development, and they would be subject to a development fee.
so as long as the owner is consistent, then these hold. If the
I
owner
think
changes,
if the owner takes the action to
Right.
demolish because of a natural disaster,
and the
then-
same owner
then I think it would
rebuilds,
come under
but if the
this.
property changes hands between, then we collect the fee.
correct.
But if the owner has a two-bedroom bungalow and decides they want to have a five-bedroom home and demolishes it, that's subject to the, although I think that has been a subject of discussion in some other communities, but right now, our fee would apply.
Our fee would
With
apply.
under our ordinance, this only covers natural disasters,
yeah.
fire,
Yeah, I mean,
floods.
a homeowner who takes down a structure because they have a desire to build a different structure, this is not going to apply.
Exactly. Okay, any further discussion?
And when does the property owner pay that fee? Is it at settlement or when they get a CO?
Yeah, prior to getting a CO.
Okay.
Okay, could we have roll call, please?
You,
Yes.
McLeod,
Yes.
McCarty,
Yes.
Dewey,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Simpson,
Yes.
Mayor Gunther,
Yes.
motion carried.
Resolution 2015-88, authorizing the development of an RFP for streetscape design. We have a motion and a second, please.
So moved.
Second.
Ed, in terms of time frame on this,
We'll look to put this out immediately, before the end of this week. The notice will go out on our website. We will notice with Jim Rotella, we'll notice our professionals, our consulting professionals, but also outside consulting professionals who have done this type of work before. This is the RFP for the design and the construction management of our streetscape project, which, if council recalls, that's a grant through the NJEDA. And we have specific timeframes that we have to adhere to, which one of them is we have to be complete within 1 year, so we need to move fairly quickly. So I would suspect we'll be back before you for recommendation of an award of contract for this service in about a month.
okay, any further discussion? Okay, seeing none, could we have roll call, please?
You,
Yes.
McLeod,
Yes.
McCarty,
Yes.
DeLucre,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Mayor Gunther,
Yes.
motion carried.
Okay, resolution 2015-89, the authorization to apply and sign a grant for the boat ramp. Resolution authorizing the execution of a grant agreement for the New Jersey Economic Development Authority Stronger New Jersey Neighborhood Community Revitalization Program, Development and Public Improvement Projects, and this is for the boat ramp improvements. We have a motion and a second, please.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Ed, you want to describe those improvements and what the timeline might be like for this?
Thank you, Mayor. Well, one thing to start off with, just housekeeping, on the third whereas of the resolution, there's a typo, and it should read, whereas the City of Brigantine has submitted an NJEDA application for funding. So the application that we have submitted is for the improvements at the boat ramp. We've talked about those improvements a number of times because we've submitted 3 applications for that same project. This one is a grant application. It's $750,000 grant. It appears as though we will receive it. It's the same program as the one that is funding the streetscape project. The proposed improvements at the boat ramp would be a floodgate at that boat ramp. It would be a permanent stormwater pump station to take the place of the flood buster that is located there. And it will also replace certain drainage systems in that area, upgrade and improve those drainage systems. And we would do some paving and regrading of the boat ramp and the intersection at 6th Street and or 5th Street and Bayshore Avenue.
Great. That's going to make a huge improvement to that area.
Absolutely.
Okay, any other discussion? Seeing none, could we have roll call, please?
View,
Yes.
McLeod,
Yes.
Bacardi,
Yes.
DeLucre,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Simpson,
Yes.
Mayor Gunther,
Yes.
motion carried.
Okay, Resolution 2015-90 is authorization to enter into a contract with the Animal Control of South Jersey. Could I have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
Should be noted that the Animal Control of South Jersey will make more than any council member or the mayor.
More dangerous job.
Exactly. So we're going to subcontract the dog catcher.
That is correct. So we currently engage this company for a monthly fee to transport off island, which we are not allowed to do. This proposal, combining that work with the actual on-island service, will be a reduction in what we have previously spent for the combined service of an in-house animal warden with this service. So the net of $14,400 under this agreement represents a $2,400 decrease from what we have paid in the past, and it enhances our service.
Does this get paid through the line item in the budget, dog regulations? Does it come out of that? That's a $10,000 line, I think, with some other expenses.
Animal control
There's an animal control line?
line, yes.
Okay, thank you.
I'm just going to put on my infectious disease specialist hat for a minute, that there's no mention here whether their personnel are protected against rabies, and I know we had this discussion at a previous time. I would like to see that incorporated, that we know that their personnel have been vaccinated against, prophylactically vaccinated against rabies.
Can we require that? I mean, they don't work for us.
I am fairly confident that they are.
Okay.
I will confirm that and
Okay.
and make sure that an agreement that we
Yeah,
have.
and I think the point is, just the fact that if for some reason they don't, then we're advocating for it so that people's risk is reduced, people who work for this service.
I will look
Just
into
a byproduct of what we're doing. Thank you.
One other suggestion. I see from the proposal that they offer at least a couple of services for private parties or individuals, including euthanasia services and removal of deceased animals. Assuming we adopt this, I wonder if we could put on the city website some link so that the residents can contact directly if they want to take advantage of those services.
Yes, we can.
Thank you.
Can I just real quick? Part of the contract is he will provide a phone number for 24-hour service directly to the police department, and he will also provide a phone number for 7 to 4:30, I believe it is, for residents to contact directly.
Okay, great.
That is
Thanks.
in there.
Trying to take you out of the loop.
Yeah.
Okay. Could we have roll call, please?
View,
Yes.
McLeod,
Yes.
Bacardi,
Yes.
DeLucre?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
Simpson?
Yes.
Mayor Gunther?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, Resolution 2015-91, authorizing an interlocal agreement with the Atlantic County Improvement Authority for engineering services. We have a motion and a second, please.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Ed, if you would describe the services to be provided and the up to amounts I think that you've included in here.
Yes. Thank you, Mayor. This is an interlocal agreement with Atlantic County Improvement Authority. It is for them to provide a engineer to help manage our consulting engineers' contracts along with any future projects that may come up. This is the first run of this, we estimate it's 15 hours per week. The dollar amount is $72 an hour for that service, and it's a yearly contract, and we would look to try it. I also, if you recall, we did an RFP to our consulting engineers to provide the same service, and their hourly rates were north of $100 an hour, between $100 and $150 an hour. So my recommendation is to do this. They've actually been working with me now for about a month without this, actually a little longer than a month, without this agreement, and it has been working fairly well. So he serves as the go-between to manage our consulting engineers as they are doing the designs, and as our projects go to construction management, he can serve as a go-between with that as well.
The only question I have on this is that, I mean, when you were city engineer, you were spending a lot more than 15 hours doing engineering work, right? So what happens, I mean, how can it be contained to 15 weeks?
I think we
15
just
hours.
caught Ed.
15 hours, I'm sorry. And what happens if it doesn't? Do you average it out across the year, or is there a provision for that?
Yes, sir. So we're expecting that there will be some weeks where I need him more than 15 hours, and there may be weeks where we need him less than 15 hours. And we're going to monitor this through the course of the year. There are still some parts of the engineering that I am doing still, and depending on how this works, that I'll either pick up a little bit more or hopefully give them a little bit more to do. But I think we'll get by. Some of the things that I was doing, we're going to turn over to our consulting engineers. So for example, where I was preparing RFPs for smaller projects, or I was doing some inspection on smaller projects, we're going to turn over either to the consulting engineers to have them do it, or there's a provision in here for inspection services through the ACIA, and I'll have them do that. But we'll track it, and this is, like I said, this is the first go around, so there may be some revisions and improvements that need to be made, but it's been working for better than a month, and I'm confident that we'll make it work this year, and we'll do good, but we'll have to tweak it for next year.
Now,
It
will we
looks
be,
like significant savings, though, when you look
yeah.
at the overall cost of engineering.
but will we be able to get like a thumbnail sketch of what's going on by watching the bill list for how many hours? Will that show up on that?
It will, but I can report to you as well.
Mhm.
And I'm telling you, we are monitoring it, and we're so far good with staying at or below the 15 hours per week. And like I said, there are times where maybe we might go a little bit above, but we will go below it as well. And so we'll maintain that average, and I'll be on top of it. So, and I'll be able to report to you.
They'll be doing everything that you did as city engineer. I mean, or will you take, like, will they do the RFPs as well as the actual engineering?
Right. So
Engineer
no,
work.
they will not be doing everything that I was doing as city engineer. What my plan is, I am taking some of the work that I did as city engineer and transferring that to our consulting engineers.
Mhm.
And other work that I did as engineer, I am still going to do. And then the bulk, or this go-between and this managing of the consultants will be done by the ACIA.
But will you be farming out things by task, or by your ability to do everything else you're supposed to do plus this? You know what I mean?
I don't know.
Like, if some, say for 1 month, you're over your head with non-engineering stuff, just city manager stuff, would they do any task that came to them, or are you going to reserve, certain tasks just for them?
So I think I understand. If there is a
Like by
project where I need
category.
to put out an RFP, I will have the ACIA do the RFP, and we'll have a consultant, one of the consultants, take on that project. If
So
it's
they can
in-
fill in on anything.
That's correct,
where they
through an
need it.
RFP. If
Okay.
it's a small couple hour here or couple hour there, I'll have the ACIA do that.
So there's total flexibility.
Correct.
Right. And bear in mind, too, that we went through a very busy period with design and applying for funding with engineering projects. Now we're going into the second phase of that, which is the actual, the building and some more design work, obviously, that needs to be done. But I think it's a way to save significant funds by an interlocal agreement that already looks like it's about 2/3 of the cost of what we would pay in an hourly rate, but also absent if we had a full-time person, absent any health benefits in that position. So it's a good interlocal agreement, and I think it's something we should try to see if we can continue to provide the service and also save money at the same time. Okay, any further discussion? Okay, seeing none, could we have roll call, please?
View,
Yes.
McLeay,
Yes.
McCarty,
Yes.
DeLucre,
Abstain.
Sarah,
Yes.
Simpson,
Yes.
Mayor Gunther,
Yes.
motion carries.
Next, we move to Resolution 2015-92, amending the code as it relates to four-wheel drive permit fees for veterans. And could we have a motion and second, please?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
And this would extend the discounted 4x4 permit rate for veterans and active military personnel for the remainder of 2015 at the same rate of $85 that is charged to seniors and individuals who are designated permanently disabled. Okay, any further discussion? Okay, seeing none, can we have roll call, please?
View,
Yes.
McLeay,
Yes.
McCarty,
Yes.
DeLucre,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Simpson,
Yes.
Mayor Gunther,
Yes.
motion carries.
Okay, Resolution 2015-93, approving the Meadowbrook-Morgan contract. Can we have a motion and second, please?
So moved.
This is a resolution approving a subcontract between Meadowbrook Golf, Inc. and Morgan's Pub and Grill. And Fred, I would ask if you could, apparently, I guess this contract was not available online, so if you could go over some of the salient points in the contract for the purposes of the public.
Sure. Let's start at the beginning, though. The municipality is not a party to this contract. The municipality passed a resolution and then entered into an agreement with Meadowbrook, and under that resolution and that agreement with Meadowbrook, Meadowbrook was given the right to sub out the food and beverage services. So what you have in front of you is not another contract involving the municipality. The municipality did reserve the right at the time that the Meadowbrook contract was entered into with the city and Meadowbrook to approve the subcontract for food and beverage services, and that's what you have in front of you. In terms of dealing with this subcontract, when it was shared with me, I'm focusing largely on three things. One is the relationship in regard to the ABC license. The second is the indemnification of the municipality by the parties to this agreement. And the third is the term, because our term in the Meadowbrook contract only authorizes Meadowbrook to do management services through December 31 of this year. And it also provided for a get-out by the municipality should we wish to do that. and we wanted to ensure that this contract subbing out the food and beverage had those things in it, which it does. Beyond that, there are business points, but those business points are between Meadowbrook and Morgan. So we did not engage in anything having to do with the business points. Having given Meadowbrook the authority to enter into a subcontract, it is then up to them and their sub to work out the business points. So I think for purposes of the city's point of view, the critical pieces here are, yes, the term of this subcontract is consistent with the primary contract between the city and Meadowbrook. Yes, there is indemnification by these parties of the municipality. And yes, there are provisions dealing with the alcohol and beverage issue between Meadowbrook and Morgan. I note that the attorney who drafted this agreement does an awful lot of ABC work, and I am comfortable that his work here is reflected and that it is beneficial from the municipality's point of view.
Great. Thank you. Okay, any discussion by council members?
Yeah, I have a few things to say. Procedurally and substantively, where we are with this contract, and I hear what Fred has said, and I've read the agreement, and his analysis is accurate as far as it goes. But for me, that's not really, it's never been the issue here, nor is it the issue who is going to be the subcontractor. Doesn't matter that it's Mike Morgan or anyone else, it would have been someone else. My problem initially, procedurally, was that, quite plainly, an agreement, if not a written agreement, had been reached before council was presented with the proposal to amend the Meadowbrook agreement to allow subcontracting. It's clear to me, and the stories that have been told since then have been, to be charitable, inconsistent, but it's very clear that an agreement, at least in principle, was already in place before it even came to us. And also appears to me that at least some of my fellow council members were aware of that before we were asked to vote on it. And I spoke on that before, and that to me is just wrong. The city had and has an interest in the subcontract, and it should have been a matter for public discussion. There's no reason to try and hide these things or do them on the QT. We would not have gotten copies of any of the written agreements. And I'll note that at my request, and since the last meeting, I did receive from Ed copies of the prior writings that had been alluded to at prior council sessions, but which had not been provided. And just to remind everybody, when this issue first came up, we were told there was a written agreement. And in fact, there was a writing that had been entered into by Meadowbrook and by Mike Morgan's company. We as council, at least council officially and council as a body, had not seen that. My concern then was, not knowing what the terms of that agreement might be, we needed to know that things were being done the right way for the ABC, and that the parties to that agreement weren't imposing any duties on the city over and above the duties that we have already assumed or would assume under our Meadowbrook agreement. So it took more work than it needed to for me to get copies of those agreements, and now I think in large measure, if not completely, because of me raising those questions, which I shouldn't have had to raise to begin with, we have a final agreement. So that's procedurally, it didn't have to go that way, and it shouldn't have gone that way. Substantively, I don't know how we could have more thoroughly squandered the potential of the golf course to this point in time. On the golf course side, on the golf operations side, we have chased away the one legitimate respondent to the RFP, and on the promise, the dream, that we could go out to another RFP demanding more, and that might somehow generate a response. That, I've said before, and I'll say it again, that is just absolutely foolish. But in terms of the food and beverage, members of this council, more than once, many times, said we need to look at all the options. The food and beverage in particular is an area of potential profit, potential upside to the city. Because let's not forget, it's a city asset. If it is to be an asset to us at all, shouldn't it produce something? Well, we made a choice, a conscious choice, and I just do not get it at all, not to get anything from the food and beverage operation. We made a conscious choice that I absolutely don't understand at all, to continue paying Meadowbrook $6,000 a month, and Meadowbrook under this agreement will also pick up a monthly payment, not the city, Meadowbrook will get paid by Mike Morgan's business. The city's total benefit from this is that we are going to be paid $1,000 a month towards utilities. Well, that's no big deal. Not only because it's only 1,000, but because where else does a commercial landlord pay its tenants' utilities cost? I don't even know what the utility costs for that operation are. I'd venture to say they might well exceed $1,000 a month. So we're getting, in effect, a token payment against costs that we incur, because the city does pay all the utilities in the first case for everything that happens at the golf course. So we had a chance. You know, we had an opportunity to try and benefit from the food and beverage operation. If in fact, as was stated so many times, people believe that there was that potential, that value in the food and beverage side, yet we chose not to do it. We chose to enter into an agreement where we get nothing. It's a city asset. The city's not getting anything. It's nice to point out, as our mayor did at the last meeting, that I think it was on Easter, that things were very busy and there was a lot of activity there. That's great. And that's good for the operator, but only for the operator. That doesn't flow to the city. There's none of that money, none of that revenue is coming to the city. That was a choice we made. It is absolutely staggering to me that we would voluntarily do that, and yet we did.
Any other discussion?
I have a question about the section 5. Is that the section on the concessionaire permit? So I understand that the subcontractor has applied for a license. And how long does that application process take to get the actual permit for the subcontractor? Can anyone answer that question?
No, I mean, there's not a specific timeline. I just note that this is taking place at a time when ABC is normally doing renewals, so their workload is up a little bit, even though my understanding is that ABC is extending the usual June deadline to September this year. And that may be because of workload, but
It's because they're doing electronic renewals now.
oh, okay.
So the city's protected because the subcontractor is not operating the alcoholic beverage sales right now, according to this.
That's correct.
So the city's protected from any potential liability of the subcontractor not being licensed properly.
Yes, I mean, what this provides is that Meadowbrook will continue with the alcoholic beverage function until such time as Morgan is properly licensed.
So anyone working in beverage is an employee of Meadowbrook?
I would assume so, yeah. That's the way this is crafted.
If I could make one other point I neglected to make a moment ago. We all talk about trying to do whatever we can to assist business on the island, and I believe that everyone wants to do that, and that everyone believes that, and they understand the importance of that. There are unintended, or maybe, I hope they're unintended, consequences of the course of action we're taking, which, in my view, include the fact that we, as a council, have made the decision that we are going to basically give the operator a liquor license. Now, as we all probably know, private operators in this town who have to go out on the market and get a liquor license pay $150, $160. I think the rod and reel might have been the last transfer, and that was at a tax sale. That was probably $150,000 or $60,000. Others have paid over $200,000. Besides not having to make that capital investment, the direct result of that, vis-a-vis the operator who doesn't have to pay for a liquor license, and those who do, is that, I would imagine, the operator who doesn't have that capital expense up front is going to be in a position to undercut the price of those who did have to make that investment. Is that the direction that we want to go, or that we wanted to go, that we're going to make it that much harder for businesses on this island that have already spent a lot of money on their facilities? And, by the way, they all pay for their facilities. They either bought them or they're leasing them. That's a big monthly nut. That's a monthly nut that doesn't exist up at the country club. Is that really the goal, that we want to make it difficult for our other businesses to compete and to be able to get the business from the larger groups and the weddings? I'm not saying that was in anybody's thinking, but it should have been, because I think that's an absolute likely result of the course of action we've taken.
Rick, I have to comment on a couple of things that you mentioned. You probably remember that I was advocating last year that we should subcontract the food and beverage operation, and there was no desire by the then majority council to move in that direction. Meadowbrook has always, I think, made it clear that they do not desire to be in the food and beverage business, but we keep comparing the one proposal that we had. The one proposal that we had, in essence, provided the city with nothing for 2 years. That operator would have had the food and beverage, would have had all of the profit from the food and beverage, would not have paid for a liquor license, would not have paid 1 cent for the first 2 years. This is, as far as I'm concerned, Mr. Morgan is taking all of the risk. He is entering into a contract that he can, and he had to do improvements in the kitchen area. If you looked at the equipment, and the area had to be improved. They are not improvements that the city of Brigantine was ready to make to have a viable operation. But his operation can cease with 30 days notice. So once again, this is a unique situation. There is a benefit to the city. When Meadowbrook negotiated their agreement, it was dropped down to $6,000 a month. So the understanding, I think, with Meadowbrook at that time, with the ability to subcontract, is that they could look for someone to run the food and beverage operation and take that burden off of their balance sheet in terms of the employees and everything else. So, once again, we can't compare a proposal that we had that would have required that owner to give us nothing for 2 years. This is a proposal, a contract that will expire December 31st with Meadowbrook, and there will be a successor agreement put in place. This is, as far as I'm concerned, is a way to operate the golf course successfully during this season, and to generate some interest in the course going forward, and hopefully increase the value.
Well, Phil, you forgot to mention the person that we cannot do the food and beverage by law. So there's no way for us as a city be able to do a food and beverage because a certain person turned around, called the ABC on us, or called ABC on the city and stated that they were running the place illegally at that particular time. That's why Meadowbrook got involved with the food and beverage at that particular time. You're right, we took it from 7,500 hours rent a month down to 1,500 hours. Excuse me, down to 6,000. That was a savings of 1,500. Meadowbrook is not paying the electric bill. City of Brigantine is, so we're getting another $12,000 a year out of that, and we're getting our $1,000 a month from Meadowbrook for the leasing of our license. So we're saving $3,500 a month over previous years. I mean, I think that's a great savings on that part. It's almost saving 50%. I've been in the golf course. I've been eating there. I think Morgan and their staff is doing one heck of a job promoting the golf course. I believe tomorrow the whole golf course is taken over by an outing of 130, 140 players. I don't know if that outing would have came if we didn't have a food and beverage person there. It's alive again. We've been beating this course into the ground. I go to courses all over South Jersey, and they say, "What are you doing with that golf course? What's wrong with it?" I said, "There's nothing wrong with it. We got to start talking positive about the golf course. We got to start talking positive about the city of Brigantine." It's my old analogy. Hey, come buy my bananas, but they're all rotten. We can't talk bad about our fruit. We can't talk bad about our city of Brigantine. The farmers market, that's fantastic. I give all the credit in the world to Lisa and the green team. So let's stop talking bad about the thing. Let's try to get it up on its feet and moving forward. Again, I think Mr. Morgan put in $20,000. He's putting up benches right now outside so he can have more people eating outside and having a pleasant time in the city of Brigantine and in our asset of the Brigantine Golf Course. So if we continue to beat up the city of Brigantine, I cannot believe if I was still a builder in this town, I'd be coming up to tell us to shut up. I'd be right at that microphone. You guys are just killing it. You're just giving us all bad news. City of Brigantine, great place to live. Our employees, the chief of the fire department, John Doring, do outstanding job. So let's stop beating up on it. Let's gather us all together and work in the same direction. As the mayor knows, you can't row in different directions. You're not going to get any place. So we're trying. There's more activity there. Since I've been playing golf, and I play 3 or 4 times a week at the golf course, there's more activity going on down there now. It's a positive feeling place. It's not dead. It's not anything, and the quality of food is outstanding. So please, let's start working together and moving in the same direction. Thank you.
Okay, any additional comments on this resolution? Okay, seeing none, could we have roll call, please?
Pugh,
Yes.
McClay,
Yes.
McCarty,
I have liked the way this unfolded. However, I do not want the golf course to falter by any means. I want it to succeed. And I don't think my vote will have any type of impact, so I am going to abstain.
to abstain.
Mm-hmm.
DeLucre,
There's no honor in making bad decisions and then trying to justify them that you're just being a positive, forward-looking person. Bad decisions are bad decisions. We've been making a series of them. When I say I disagree entirely with the course, with the direction that we're taking with the golf course, I don't think that people perceive that to be me saying that any of the chiefs aren't doing a great job, that John Doring isn't doing a great job. I don't think people perceive that to be me saying that Brigantine isn't a wonderful place to live, because, as you may have noticed, I live here, and I've lived here my whole life. This is a bad idea. What we're doing with the course, without exception, is bad. I'm voting no.
Sarah,
As this process has kind of gone through, I've tried to sit back and to listen and try to figure out what the right course is. And what I can see here is it seems like the exact system that we have in place has done its job. You know, as members of council, we're supposed to come here with questions if we have ideas or if we want to see what's going on. I think everybody had that opportunity. Whether you agree or disagree with what's going on, I think everybody had an opportunity to take part in that. It's brought a lot of things to light, and that's what we as a community need. I look at the direction of the evolution of this lease agreement. I think that the next process is making sure that the city attorney is here to make sure that the city's best interests are protected. From what I can tell in this agreement, it seems like he's done a fine job of that. Our next goal here has to make sure that the taxpayers can't remain liable, can't stay on the hook, and can't continue to lose money on the golf course. If you look at the excitement that having Mr. Morgan in there has drawn, there's a lot more activity on the golf course. There's a good buzz going on outside the community about outside of the community about the things that are happening there. I live on the golf course. I see people going through all day long. One of the things, if you want to have the golf course be successful, He needs to advertise. Mr. Morgan is doing that through his other businesses. He's drawing people in. He's putting capital improvements into that place up front that aren't costing us anything. We may have differing agreements about how we got there, but it seems to me that this is moving in the right direction, so I vote yes.
Simpson?
And again, Mike Morgan and his wife and his whole family's involved in this. They're there all the time. I estimate they put in $20,000 so far on a hopeful that they get past January 1st of next year. They want to make it success. If they're successful, the golf course will be successful. That was a lot of guts to put up 20 grand. We haven't put up $20,000 in the last 12 years into the course in improvements like what they're doing. So I definitely vote yes.
Mayor Gunther?
I've already stated my reasons why I think this is a positive agreement for the city of Brigantine, but I also want to clear up if there's any concern. We have a very competent city attorney. He's been involved in this process since the beginning, and as a result of that, we have an agreement that has been reached. I don't want the public to think that this process would not have taken place without the objections that we heard from the 4th Ward councilman. The process was underway where the city solicitor was already reviewing the contracts. So I vote yes. I'm very confident that the city of Brigantine is protected and that the golf course will flourish with the food and beverage operation with Mike and Sandy Morgan operating it.
Motion carried.
Okay, next we have authorizing a grant application, New Jersey Department of State for a cooperative marketing grant. And this is a resolution authorizing the grant application, New Jersey Department of State for the cooperative marketing grant. And this is for the Division of Travel and Tourism. This is for a tourism grant and would be in partnership with Chamber of Commerce as well, signing on as our partner. Can I have a motion and second, please?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
This was discussed at our economic development special events and tourism meeting that was held, and there is enthusiastic support, I think, for moving forward with this grant application through Jim Rotella's office, and of course we'll be able to parlay anything that already exists, including a significant amount of work that's been done by Mike Brennan in the Chamber of Commerce, along with what they've already created and also some of the funding that they have generated. So this will be, hopefully, I think it's, we're looking at possibly $25,000, somewhere in that range, as a tourism grant.
So I have a question. Is the chamber applying for this, or is the city of Brigantine applying for this?
City of Brigantine, but there's a partnership. Part of I think what Jim explained, as I understand it, is some of the value when the application is scored is how many partners you can bring in to the application. So the chamber will be part of it for sure, but it's the city of Brigantine applying.
And in the grant application, do you have to state what your project's going to be, your marketing plan? What are you going to do with the funds?
There is for sure. Jim Rotella's handling it, so I don't necessarily have a full understanding of what the application is going to be. He's familiar with it. He actually prepared one last year. He spoke with the state in how that one was evaluated and where it fell short, and he has some ideas on how he's going to improve the application this year. Beyond that, at least I don't really have a good handle on exactly what the plan is. This simply authorizes us to put that together and get it in.
I just know on any grant application, you have to have what your goal is, your objective,
Sure.
your plan, how are you going to get there, the timeline. I just wasn't sure what direction this was going to go in. Is it going to be like an extensive marketing campaign? Is it going to be brochures? Is it going to be social media? Would this be discussed at the Economic Development Committee meeting for the
Yes.
public to know how we're going to handle the marketing?
That's correct. It will be discussed as we move forward at the next economic
Now-
development.
And I think what was discussed already, and Ed is absolutely correct, the partner piece is something that in the state, it says right in the resolution, organizations have to show a match of 25% from partners or sponsors. So that, I believe, is an area where we're strengthening the application this year. But yes, that, whatever that grant application is, council would have access to that.
Okay. Are we,
And who's going to pay the 25% match? The city or the chamber?
The chamber would be part of that.
Yeah, and the 25% match can be in-kind services as well. Lisa, basically my understanding is it's the same application as what was applied for last year. So the city applied through Jim Rotella for this grant last year as well. It was unsuccessful. So whatever the purpose of that grant was last year, whether it was marketing, and I believe it was, not brochures, but I think marketing, this is following that same path with the benefit of Jim Rotella speaking with the state who evaluated last year's application and giving Jim some insight into ways to improve it. So however we applied for last year, whatever council approved last year as part of that grant application, conceptually or substantially it's the same with some ways to strengthen it. And that is for sure what Jim expressed to me is the partnership element and how we're going to be able to evaluate the success of it. So that's what we talked about is the partners would have to be able to track, you know, did they see people come in as a result of this campaign?
is the request for the grant 25,000 or is 25,000 the cost of the
I
project?
think that's the maximum.
That's the maximum.
You can
But
get
it- but-
anywhere from 5,000 to
Yeah,
25,000.
But is that the cost of the project or the cost of the grant plus the cities or the in-kind? So
that's,
is it like-
that's the
is it like-
maximum, and I imagine what we do would fall under whatever we get. So if they
Oh,
give
okay,
us
I got it.
10, we limit
All
it to
right.
10,000.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any further discussion? Okay, seeing none, could we have roll call, please?
You,
Yes.
McLean,
Yes.
McCarty,
Yes.
DeLucre,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Simpson,
Yes.
Mayor Gunther,
Yes.
motion carried.
Okay, resolution 2015-95, authorizing the execution of an agreement for market to affordable housing program. We have a motion and a second, please?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Ed, this is for Triad?
Yes, it is, Mayor. This is an agreement that we currently have with Triad. It is part of our COA plan, our affordable housing plan. Triad is the company that consults for us and represents us in the market to affordable program. That is where the city of Brigantine purchases a home or a property at market rate and buys down that property using the development fees that are collected and brings it down to an affordable price and then sells that property as an affordable property. So Triad represents us in that aspect. Their fee is the same as the previous contract. This contract, the existing contract expires, I believe, June or July of this year. We're doing it early because council last December set aside, I believe, $70,000 from the development fees for a market to affordable project. However, the contract that existed with Triad had specifically stated 2 market to affordable properties, and we have already done that. So since it was expiring anyway soon, we thought it would be appropriate to do a new agreement that allows for additional units to be purchased at council's discretion.
Okay. Any
Yeah.
further questions?
Yes, question, but, and maybe for the public if they're interested. Triad gets paid basically from the proceeds that they provide services of marketing these units to eligible, affordable buyers, and they see them through the closing to those buyers, and then they get a fee for that?
That's exactly right. And that fee comes out of the development fees that are collected. So it is a zero cost to the city.
Thank you.
Okay. Could we have roll call, please?
View,
Yes.
McClay,
Yes.
McCarty,
Yes.
DeLucre,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Simpson,
Yes.
Mayor Gunther,
Yes.
motion carried.
Okay, Resolution 2015-96, we're going to pull that from the agenda. Ed, do you need a resolution to send that back out?
I was just asking Frank.
Okay.
So Mayor, if we could, I would ask council to reject this bid and authorize the purchasing agent to revise and rebid the project.
Okay. So we need a resolution to reject the award of the bids that were submitted for the open box refuse containers. Need a motion and authorize the purchasing agent to put out another bid for the same. Need a motion and a second?
Second.
I'll make the motion.
No, you're voting yes. Yes to reject.
Yes to
Yes,
reject.
Okay, any further discussion? Okay, seeing none, could we have roll call?
View,
Yes.
McClay,
Yes.
McCarty,
Yes.
DeLucre,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Simpson,
Yes.
Mayor Gunther,
Yes.
motion carried.
Okay, next we have award of contract, Resolution 2015-97, furnishing of labor and material for electrical work as required by the City of Brigantine. And the electrical service for general and emergency electric services would be awarded to Calvi Electric Company of Atlantic City, New Jersey, based on their low bid. Can we have a motion and second, please?
So moved.
Any discussion?
Ed,
Okay, seeing
Ed,
none?
question for Ed, and again, just for clarification, because it may not be clear from the materials with the agenda. Ed, this is the same project for which we rejected bids at our last meeting. You put it back out, and I understand Calvi's price was substantially lower than the price from last time, and the lowest price this time.
That is correct. Yes, it's the lowest price this time. It is lower than the first bid. And in fact, that bidder who bid the first time resubmitted a bid and lowered their price as well. But Calvi ends up being the lowest price.
Okay, could we have roll call, please?
View,
Yes.
McClay,
Yes.
McCarty,
Yes.
DeLucre,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Simpson,
Yes.
Mayor Gunther,
Yes.
motion carried.
Next, we have award of contract, Resolution 2015-98 for the Waterworks material. And this would be awarded to HD Supply of Williamstown Road, Berlin, New Jersey, based on their low bid. Could I have a motion and second, please?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, seeing none, could we have roll call, please?
View,
Yes.
McClay,
Yes.
McCarty,
Yes.
DeLucre,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Simpson,
Yes.
Mayor Gunther,
Yes.
motion carried.
Okay, we ask our solicitor if we can combine resolutions 2015-99 through 101. They're all farmers market refunds.
Sure.
Okay, can we have a motion for resolution
Combine.
2015-99 to 101?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any discussion?
I'll just comment on these three refunds. The $20 refund is for a very late application that was submitted. well beyond the deadline, so that's courtesy. We're going to refund that. The application wasn't even really reviewed. Popo Flanagan is out of the market. She is working on her home and cannot be here for the market days. And the last one is an insurance issue, and that vendor has opted out of the market.
Very good, thank you, Lisa. Okay, can we have roll call, please?
View,
Yes.
McLean,
Yes.
McCarty.
Yes.
DeLucre.
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Mayor Gunther.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, resolution 2015-102, authorizing the public auction of the former library playroom building. Not the site, just the building. Have a motion and second, please.
So
One thing
moved.
at a time.
Second.
John, nobody took it on Gov Deals? Oh, you're going to put it up now, okay. Very good.
Is there an opening bid for that building? Highest bidder takes it?
As long as they take it away.
Take it away. The only thing they're gonna leave us is a hole in the ground. They're gonna take the concrete
Huh?
and we'll fill the hole in when they're done.
Great. Okay, could we have roll call, please?
View,
Yes.
McLean.
Yes.
McCarty.
Yes.
DeLucre.
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Mayor Gunther.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Resolution 2015-103, authorizing the public auction of 2 surplus vehicles. Have a motion and second, please?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, seeing none, can we have roll call, please?
View,
Yes.
McLean.
Yes.
McCarty.
Yes.
DeLucre.
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Mayor Gunther.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Resolution 2015-104, amending the drug testing policies for lifeguards. Give a motion and second, please.
So moved.
Second.
Ed, do you want to describe it's a little change to the contract?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. This actually is a change that came in cooperation with both the Beach Patrol Union and the City of Brigantine. It is a change that allows for the random drug testing throughout the entire summer season while the lifeguards are on duty and employed. Allows for 10% of the working staff to be randomly tested, and it is consistent with the drug testing policy that we have at Public Works as well. So, and I would again emphasize it is a change that comes with support from both the lifeguards, the officers, and City of Brigantine.
Thank you, Ed. All right, any discussion from council members? Seeing none, can we have roll call, please?
View,
Yes.
McLean.
Yes.
McCarty.
Yes.
DeLucre.
Yes.
Sarah,
Abstain.
Simpson.
Yes.
Mayor Gunther.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, next, resolution 2015-105, amending the capital budget for the school. And this would be consistent with the new debt that was authorized?
Yes.
Okay, can we have a motion and second, please?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Any discussion?
A question maybe for Fred. Should this resolution await the final action on the 2 ordinances for spending the money, or is this something that can go in advance of that?
Yeah.
Okay, quite frankly, Councilman, I didn't see the backup. I understand that the auditor actually did the backup and presented this, so, you know, I really don't have an opinion on it. I'd be relying upon the work of our other professionals through the auditing office.
Is there a downside to holding it until next meeting when the ordinances come up?
I don't know that answer, Councilman. Leon, our auditor, sent this over and said, please put that on the agenda for this meeting.
Well, you have to do it if you add the additional bonding.
Correct.
But doesn't this piggyback into the other one?
It does.
Yes.
Yes. It really does not change our budget. You know, it's sheets, it's a pass-through, so whatever is on there, it's passed through. But I don't know the answer.
But there's no addition as far as other types of work that would be done. That's all covered, was all covered in the in the past ordinance that we just did, as
No,
far as the
this-
enumeration.
This would change the sheets of our budget that was adopted. It amends that budget to specifically identify the work that we just authorized in the bond introduction.
Right, okay.
So it ties to that.
Maybe that suggests that it makes more sense to wait until the ordinances where we are specifically authorizing certain work are adopted.
You know, to be honest, I think it's kind of either way, because if the ordinance isn't passed, then I guess we would do a resolution.
Right, not to amend.
Not to amend it.
Right.
So I don't know. I really do not know. I did not talk with Leon specifically about the
Unless you need
urgency.
something for DCA. I'm not sure. if
That's
that-
what I
that
don't
may
know
be
his-
what the timing is.
Because he specifically asked me to have this on the agenda this evening, I understand exactly, Councilman, what you're stating, but because Leon asked specifically, and I do not know what deadlines he may be facing, I would ask that we approve this resolution with the understanding that if the ordinance does not pass, I may be back with another resolution asking you to amend it back.
Okay. Any other questions?
So just to make sure that there's no conflict to a timeline, we can go ahead. And we can self-correct later if we have to.
Okay, could we have roll call, please?
You,
Yes.
McLeod,
Yes.
McCarty,
Yes.
DeLucre,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Simpson,
Yes.
Mayor Gunther,
Yes.
motion carried.
Resolution 2015-106 is a person-to-person liquor license transfer. And this is actually a correction in the wording. The Cove has filed for the person-to-person transfer of the plenary retail license, and
No, she gave it to us.
herefore issued to J.J. Brigg LLC for premises located at 3700 Atlantic Brigantine Boulevard. And we are effectively the plenary retail consumption license to the Cove at Brigantine Beach LLC, and does hereby direct the municipal court to endorse the license certificate with the new ownership as follows. It's transferred to the Cove at Brigantine Beach LLC. Have a motion and second, please.
So moved.
Second.
So this is no substantive change at all, just because the wording was wrong.
Just a name.
Right.
Lynn, I think you got the application, yeah?
I do.
And you're just changing it from,
We had ordered it before Jack Church and Montgomery Dom, but the state wanted to say J.J. Brigg to
Cove.
the Cove at Brigg Beach.
But
It's the
as
same
far-
one you voted on
Right.
April 1st.
That's,
so
that's,
Chief, the same investigation, everything is in place?
Yeah, it's just a technicality there.
Just a... Okay. Any further questions?
I mean, we're now going, I mean, the names on the application have changed. That doesn't change anything as far as the state's concerned, do you know it, Fred?
The principles are
As-
still...
I mean, as I understood it, the transaction is between the corporate entities, not the individuals. Clearly, the individuals are the owners of the corporation. On April 1, this body passed a resolution that had in it the individuals'
Right.
names. Those individuals will not be licensed entity. The licensed entity is the corporate
Corporation.
name that is in front of you tonight. So this resolution is being offered for clarity so that when it gets sent up to ABC, it matches up with who they're actually going to license.
Okay, can we have roll call, please?
View,
Yes.
McLean,
Yes.
McCarty,
Yes.
DeLucre,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Simpson,
Yes.
Mayor Gunther,
Yes.
motion carried.
Okay, we move to our consent agenda. We have the Brian Woods walk request, the soccer tournament request, the Brigantine Beach Volleyball Association tournament request, and the Chamber of Commerce special events request. Could we have a motion? Second, please.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Could we have roll call?
View,
Yes.
McLean,
Yes.
McCarty,
Yes.
DeLucre,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Simpson,
Yes.
Mayor Gunther,
Yes.
motion carried.
Okay, any manager, we have a couple of things. First, the Substance Abuse Summit. I'd ask Chief Reed to kind of give us an update on the summit that will be held tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night there will be, along with Together Atlantic County and the Municipal Alliance of Atlantic County, we'll like to invite everybody to attend the opiate addiction summit. The Substance Abuse Summit, prescription, heroin abuse, focus on solutions will be held between 6 and 8:30 at the community center. Also, the Atlantic County Sheriff's Department will be there for a medicine drop. So if you have any medicine you would like to dispose of during the event, you can be there for that. Immediately following, John Brooks' house will be training. They will have a training session immediately following for Narcan residents.
Is the prescription drug drop-off at 5:30 prior to the summit?
It's going to be for the whole.
The entire time?
Yeah.
And just so people are clear, the drug drop-off is not limited to controlled substances. Anything that you have and want to drop off, you can do that.
That is correct.
Once again, I know there are a number of people who are planning to attend the summit tomorrow night. I want to thank the chief and his department for organizing it, and I know Alan, the fire department's been involved, and we'll have representation there tomorrow night as well Municipal Alliance and Join Together Atlantic County. I have to tell you, I had a mayor's meeting about 2 weeks ago, and it's a concern throughout Atlantic County. In fact, there may be some mayors from throughout Atlantic County attending to see how the summit is organized and then bring the similar program back to their community. So I want to thank chiefs and people involved here in Brigantine for your work in putting this together.
If you could pick up those when the leading flyers here, with the agenda, you can pick them up and pass them out. Invite your neighbors, friends.
Thank you, Chief. Ed, retaining walls?
Thank you, Mayor. Just briefly, we had discussed possible amendment to Chapter 198, which is our land use ordinance, that requires bulkheads for bayfront and waterfront properties. Fred and I have worked on some language, just as an update to council. I'll send that out to council for your review and comment this week, and then ask that you give me your comments next week, and I'll get them together with Fred, and we'll put the introduction of the ordinance together for possibly and hopefully next council meeting.
Great. Okay, any other committee
Has there
reports?
been any complaints about the email system in the city? I haven't had an email responded to in like 3 weeks or 4 weeks. Nothing. And they're not getting bounced back to me, so it's not a problem with the address.
No, there has not been any, and I've been receiving and sending, and I'm aware that my emails are being received, so I'm not aware of that, but I'll reach out to you tomorrow, because maybe, are you emailing from the city of Brigantine?
From my city address to you, to Lynn, to Ann Adams. I haven't gotten any
So,
responses.
I don't know the answer, but tomorrow I'll.
Okay, I don't know if anybody else
I
has
haven't received
experienced
it,
it.
Joe, so there must be.
One couple quick points from the Beach Committee, which met on the 28th of April. Excellent attendance, as always. The committee recommended, and council has wisely already adopted on the consent agenda, the request from the Brigantine Beach Volleyball Association. Also, committee recommends to council that we give our collective blessing to the manager and to John Doring to proceed with a mark out on the beach for the jet ski launching and beaching area, and separately the proposed beach-mounted signage, which is intended to identify for the benefit of jet skiers the area where they are not to go. And final thing that we discussed was the planting of beach grass. John, did that come in? All right. We would like to strongly encourage and invite people to join members of the beach committee and other members of the community in a beach grass planting, which will take place on Saturday, May 16th at 9 a.m. is start time. We're going to gather on Ocean Drive West at, I believe it's called Renaissance Cove. Nobody knows where that is. It's 34 Ocean Drive West, and won't take long, an hour or so of your time. We're going to be planting dune grass throughout the new dune system that's building up down there. And everyone is welcome, and if possible, Ed, if you could put maybe some kind of notice on the city website about that. And we certainly look forward to seeing you all there.
And I've prepared a flyer for that. I sent that out to the green team. That should be up on our website soon and sent out to the green team and friends of the green team. Also, people want to bring a wooden spoon with a long handle or a spade, because you do have to make a 12-inch, a small 12-inch hole.
Mrs.
The
McClay.
camera works really well, too.
Mrs. McClay, would you mind forwarding that flyer to me as well?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay, and I did mention earlier that the Economic Development Special Events and Tourism Committee had their first meeting. Ken Lefevre has agreed to chair the committee. As you know, he has extensive background, having been the commissioner at the state level for economic development, as well as being involved in the Department of Commerce for the state of New Jersey, and a former assemblyman, and working in economic development through Atlantic Electric as well. So we're very happy that Ken is going to take over in that role, and Paul Busco is going to be the vice chair, local attorney, and I think we have some very good goals that have been established so far, and some ideas about how to move forward. I want to thank Ed Stinson for bringing Jim Rotella to the meeting and getting us to talk about some of the funding mechanisms that are there, as well as the work that the Chamber has been doing and will be a partner in the tourism grant that will be submitted, in fact was approved tonight. So things are moving forward on that front. We have additional meetings scheduled for this month, and we'll certainly keep council abreast of things as they come in. One of the things that was discussed early on, just briefly, Mike Brennan did a presentation about the chambers, and we approved them tonight. There are special events for the summer. The committee endorsed them completely, so they're off and running, and they were here before you tonight. Some of them, they've been done before, so you're well aware of what they are and the quality of those events that are sponsored by the Chamber. And with that said, we're going to start public comment, unless anybody else has a comment. And I'll start with Mike Brennan, because I know he wants to talk about those events.
Very excited about this summer, Mayor and Council. 2015 is going to be one of the biggest summers in Brigantine. Rest assured, the way the Chamber's run now, we're very careful how we do what events we do, and they have to be run properly. You have packets I sent to Lynn. We have certain, we have a golf tournament scheduled for June 6th that of course will be with Meadowbrook, and they won't be individually named as an insured, but you know, like any golf tournament, it just goes through the normal procedure. We have movie nights planned for right at 16th Street south of the beach, and I need council approval for them. On Wednesday nights, July 22nd, 29th, August 9th, and 12th. They're Wednesday nights, and Right now, we're proposing, if it's feasible, at the Cove, August 7th. The G movies are going to be at that 16th Street location. That's for families and general things. I do have a list of those movies, but I don't know if I should disclose them tonight because I don't have a drum roll for anybody. But we do have a list of those movies. These movies that we show in public are not just $30 CDs. We pay $375 a movie. They're licensed for public viewing. The city is an insured party through our carrier that should anything happen, you are well covered, and it doesn't affect anybody, and it doesn't put any liability on the city. We have a handful of volunteers that run them. They're not difficult. It requires the Brigantine Automotive. He lends us his truck, and we drag a big screen out from Eye to Eye Media, and we put it out there. We have maybe 3 support 4x4s. We set up a little tent, get candy from Sam's and water. There's a big cellar and some soft pretzels. That's about the extent of it. You feel like at the movies. We were starting them at 8 o'clock. I'm thinking we're going to start them at 7 o'clock this year, so the setup will probably be 2 hours before to get the equipment right and get that set up. So we would be on the beach probably by 5 o'clock. The little kids I've seen never finish the movie. They're starting to fall asleep. So the date night, which will be August 7th at the Cove, I'm pretty sure we'll be able to put a movie screen. We got low tide. The only thing that would happen that day, it is a Friday night, we'll have to have permission to ask people to go along the water line, the dune line, possibly ask, the specials to ask them to line up for a sight of view, like we do with the football games. And in that case there, it'll start at 8 o'clock. You'll have sight of view from boats being anchored along Absecon Inlet, coming up where, they beach themselves. And we'll be marketing that as by paddleboard, kayak, whatever. It's date night, under 16s discouraged. We have Laguna. We're going to do the luau again. That was a great success for us last year. We were overwhelmed. We learned by what to expect. Just turned out to be a beautiful day. People stood in line a lot for food, but it was a great event. It's held right in Laguna proper within their parameters, so their insurance and our insurance will cover it. And it's a great event, and with the luau dancers and things like that, and Bobby Moose playing Santa Claus. I don't know anybody that had a bad time. Then we're also asking for 2 Eagles tailgate parties. The schedule, we were hoping for that they didn't make the playoffs, a couple 1 o'clock games, but on September 17th is a 4:25 game. That'll be against Dallas, so take it easy on Steve Benani. All right? We are on city property. Many of you have been there last year, and you saw how we handled it. It was well-run, well-organized. We have sights of view. We drew it out ahead of time. We have enough ample volunteers and get people in the proper lines. We do not allow barbecuing on the beach there. We do, if they're 4-wheel drive, we're asking the council to approve 4-wheel drive vehicles to enter it. And we went without a hitch last year, and we like to do 2 of them. For 3 weeks, I got calls. The 855 number that the chamber has rings right to my cell phone. For 3 weeks, we got calls to have more, like when's the next one. So it's feasible to have 2. On the September 17th date and the October 4th is a 1 o'clock game against, somewhere down Washington. Redskins or something? I don't know, but it's going to be against Washington, and hopefully we have 2 good victories. So there are the agendas that we're asking council to approve, and again, we did go through the committee and presented them the insurance declaration pages. Lynn has them on file. We're considering other events, but the general population needs to know these events have to be done right. They have to be done correct. They can't expose the city to liabilities that are unnecessary. and they get complicated. A lot of events that may possibly been run in the past have to be considered more deeply and thoroughly researched. So we're in the process of doing that. But these are ones that we've had success. They're low risk to the city. Actually, no risk because we're insured for them. And we'd like to move forward with them and get your permission and to go forward and put them on.
And the good news is you already did. They were part of the consent agenda.
Okay.
So you're good to go.
So give me a good yes, and let's go have fun this summer.
You've been approved.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. Okay, any other public? Mike Feely.
Michael Feely, speaking for the Brigantine Beach Volleyball Association. I just want some clarification. I know in the consent agenda it stated regarding the tournaments, but the request that came to the city was much more extensive than that. I just want clarification to make sure that there's an understanding of what was being asked for. First was fencing that would be established season-long on the beach, basically north and south of the volleyball courts. Actually, Mayor Gunther, at one time, a number of years ago, you were down there with Jim Mogan, and we discussed it informally. This would be fencing that would be erected by the Volleyball Association, kept up during the season in order to basically restrict balls from getting out of the athletic area. And then at the end of the season, the association would then take the fencing down. This was reviewed with, I believe, with Jim Doring before. The second part was also a request that we were going to add some solar lighting to the shed down there with the possibility of running some extensions out to the court. I just want to make sure council is aware so that if we start work on this, that there aren't any surprises.
I don't remember the extension, the issue of the extensions, but I remember the fencing. It was all part of the information that we got.
We received the email that was...
Okay,
Yeah.
I just, because on the agenda it just said tournaments, and I just wanted to make sure that everyone was clear. So we can proceed.
Ed, are you okay with those?
I am, yes. That's what we were asking
Okay.
on the agenda for council's approval.
Okay, very
And
good.
I'll respond, or Lynn or I will respond to the email to advise the council has approved.
Okay, to Bill
I'll
Narkowitz.
say that I will. Lynn's going to be busy enough.
Okay.
You died, didn't
Thank you. Also, I just wanted to remind everyone that the Marine Mammal Stranding Center is having their Run for the Animals run this coming Saturday. Unfortunately, I won't be here, so Councilman DeLucre is going to have to run on my behalf.
Yeah, promise
Thank
you
you.
a good time.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. For the run. Okay, great. Thank you, Mike. Okay, Mrs. Phillips? Sorry.
Ann H. Phillips, 308 27th Street. In the press article of May the 5th on the Cox decision, and no, I'm not discussing litigation, the amount of $107,000 payment to Mr. Cox for unused sick and vacation time at the time of his retirement is included in that article. It's important and revealing to note this in connection with the current negotiations on the expired police and fire contracts. These practices should not be part of the new contracts. They don't occur in the private sector. Use it or lose it, a key phrase here, which I think we should all keep in mind, should be the policy for those new contracts. Here's an example of how costly and unnecessarily so to taxpayers Brigantine's union contracts have been in the past, and evidently, obviously, still being used since they have, the negotiations are still going on. The days in which those practices can be tolerated, accepted, etc., are over. So we just want to make this statement. I thought it was interesting to read that amount. And I appreciated that the press printed it because I was not aware of it. But he is not unusual. He's entitled to it legally. However, the contract should be drawn, the new ones, in which such provisions do not exist. The economy is, the time is over for them. So I hope council takes note of this, and of course the city manager who is negotiating those contracts. And it's an example of what we have been paying for all these years, and we can't afford it any longer. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Phillips. Mr. Burns?
B.J. Burns, 45 Hills Road. And I'd like to congratulate our new deputy mayor. He's doing a wonderful job. That's a lucky seat. I had that seat on the other mayor for quite a few years on the zoning board. Now, in order for me to let you know what I'm talking about, I have to, you have to look at these pictures. Otherwise you wouldn't know.
Thank you.
I want to thank the gentleman for getting the whole daily dumpster out of my house and picking up all the stuff that the city should have did and didn't do. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, Mr. Burns.
A senior citizen called me up to tell me why did I take this one down and they didn't like the picture, so they want to see. And then you'll know what I'm talking about.
Mr. Burns, can you?
Mr. Burns, you might want to use the microphone because nobody will be able to hear you.
You might want to thank the mayor, he forced me to do it.
Go ahead, Mr. Burns. We'll get him back to you. We'll get him, yeah. We'll get him to Stinson.
Chief Widener.
Chief Widener's got him.
Yeah. In good hands. Put him to work. See you on Facebook.
Now, I was here before, and people thought I insulted him by calling him a large man. I meant it to be insulted, because if you see where he didn't do his job and take him away, and he told me I had to put him in trash cans, and I went to talk to a friend of mine in Mayfact. He estimated the amount of trash cans I put just off his shoulder would be about 20 trash cans, and you couldn't load them too high because they would blow over. You have to be so you can dump them out. Now, what I want to know is why he told me that I should apologize to him. He should apologize to me, and he should apologize to me for his employees not doing the job. But it wasn't his time at the time, it was the other one before him. And I know you'll do a better job than either one of the last two. It's easy. But I mean, you could do it anyway. But that's all I want to say. And I'd like to know, would you like to apologize to me for sticking up for myself? And I never used a senior citizen, because I'll tell you something. I can go give you 3 minutes of hell anytime you want to go about it. So if I insult you, respond, because I fear nobody. So, what do
Mr.
you
Burns,
wanna do?
if I could interrupt for just a moment, could I suggest that you come in and see Mr. Stinson in his office so you can have a conversation with him?
No, I won't.
Pardon me? But I think you should have a conversation.
For him to say that to me, not knowing the situation. And the friends you have are the ones you had before. The new ones are new friends. Anytime you're in charge of something, you'll find out they're different kind of friends.
But I would suggest you come in, have a meeting with Ed, and sit down and discuss it.
He's a hard-headed Irishman like me. He never.
Thank you, Mr. Burns.
You know what it's all about? In the back of my house, you'll find out on the golf course. It's still clear. And after I get the house fixed up, and I also want to thank everybody that helped me during the storm. A lot of people sent me money, Elks and all kinds of people. And the Brigantine Strong has to be the greatest damn group going. So thank you very much. And then you senior citizens are laughing, talking. Tell them I was here. I hope you're listening, because you can't see the people talking, you know. Thank you very much. See you.
Thank you, Mr. Burns. Any other public comment? Mr. Pucci?
John Pucci, 100 Sheridan Square. I did attend a school board meeting back in March when they approved the need for the items, the maintenance items specifically for the bond ordinance that was on your agenda tonight. I do remember one thing specifically where they had said that all the utilities in the crawl space, the brackets, were literally corroding out because of the salt air after 20 minutes. So there was a presentation, just to let you know that there was a presentation at a school board meeting to explain the needs for the maintenance items for the bond that was on your agenda tonight. I'd like to bring up again the web page. The agenda was not on the web page as of 9 o'clock this morning. If you remember, I think we had the same, I don't want to say a problem, we had the same situation at the last meeting. Wasn't able to get the supplemental information to attend these meetings. Just to let you know, it's important to me. I think I've been to more council meetings than all of you up there because I think I've been consistent for the past 2.5 years, and at one time or another, you've all missed a meeting. And I'm saying that because it is important, and it's important to other people. Understand that a lot is going on, understand that Mr. Stinson is working on it, but not everybody, I speak not for everybody on the island that can just simply come in and get an agenda. You have other summertime residents that live in other areas in New Jersey and Pennsylvania where if they were able to see the agenda, they might just say, well, let me go down a little bit earlier this week instead of wait till the weekend and come and attend your city council meeting. So I just ask that every effort possible and that the agenda is placed on the website prior to the day of the meeting, that every effort is made and that we don't go 3 times in a row, respectively.
Right, and I think there's a commitment to fixing the problem.
Maybe, Ed, if we could, maybe when that happens, when there's too much volume, or, put a disclaimer up or a note so that people know the technical reason why, or maybe the company could put up an official disclaimer so that way it kind of frees up and people understand why.
Right, and an idea also, if we're struggling getting the entire package up, we may simply post the agenda, the 3 pages, and make sure that that is up so people have an idea of what is on the agenda. And if they have a question or would like more information, they can always call us. We will continue to endeavor, and we'll figure out a way that we'll get it up there. Just, we're working on it. It's not for lack of effort, I promise you. So we are working on it. We'll continue to work on it. And at a very minimum, we'll make sure that at least the agenda items are on the web so people at least have that much information and awareness of what we're planning to do at the council meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you, John.
I heard some discussion tonight that our city manager is also continuing to do engineering work, and I ask, is there some stipend paid for that extra work that Mr. Stinson is doing as being an engineer also?
There's no additional stipend, no.
Well, then that seems to me that's a pretty good bang for the buck.
I would agree.
The Veterans Resolution tonight that was approved until the end of the year, I ask why it's not placed in the ordinance specifically with the rest of the discounts, because it seems like this always runs out and you always have to do it. If the commitment is there and the consensus is there to give the veteran a break, I ask that the discount is placed in the ordinance as an ordinance like the rest of the discounts over 60 and disabled, rather than just a resolution that ends at a certain time. That is my request.
The plan is to eventually present for council's consideration an amendment to the fee ordinance. But there's other amendments to that fee ordinance that need to take place, and I'm not prepared at this time to really go through that fee ordinance and give it proper consideration and present it to council. So this buys me time till the end of this year. And then at some point before then, hopefully I'll have an amendment to the fee ordinance, which most likely will include this. Obviously, it's up to council, but I expect that it will include this discount. And we'll do one amendment that encompasses most of the changes. It's just I wasn't ready to do it in an ordinance form yet.
So I understand it's a work in progress, and
Yes, and I think
the
it makes-
consensus is that it's going to be permanent, not just temporary that could be stopped at a certain point.
I believe it is.
Thank you very much. And also, currently, there's a tab on the website, 4x4 permits. In the meantime, I understand it's pretty simple. Can we just go ahead and put that on that tab where you hit, it shows the discounts? Can we add, even in the meantime, it's just a resolution that the veterans do get a discount on the website where it shows the 4x4 permits? Thank you. And lastly, I've ate at the golf course recently. It's excellent food, and I plan to take my wife over there for Mother's Day. I don't know where this city would be if Meadowbrook decided, no, we're not going to renew our contract earlier this year. And if Mr. Morgan did not decide to take the food and beverage, I don't know anybody else that would have wanted it. And I do understand that there were time constraints to get this rounded up, so we could have a good golf course for the summer. It's only to the end of the year. You're going to take a look at it at the end of the year. This council didn't do what it was supposed to do last year and get all this covered. You didn't get it done. So certain things had to be set in process. Renew Meadowbrook's contract just to the end of the year. The food and beverage just to the end of the year. I don't see any other food and beverage people coming up here and griping that they didn't get the contract. So I think it's the best thing for this year now to get it going. I think it was a positive thing for the end of the year, and we'll certainly look at everything for next year. So I think it's a good thing to do.
We're at 5. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, and any other public comment? If you would, Ms. Phillips, use the microphone.
My question actually is for the
You
city.
better state your name and for the record.
Ann H. Phillips, 308 27th Street. Will the contract between Meadowbrook and Morgan be available in the city clerk's office tomorrow?
Yeah, it's available right now, right?
No, I know, but I mean, it was missing from the website,
Right.
and so I just
We
want
could
to
probably give you a
could
copy
get
tonight if you-
paper copy is what I'm interested in.
You can have my copy.
I'll come up and get it in the city
Okay.
clerk. Thank you.
Okay, seeing no other public comment at this time, Bob? Sure, absolutely. Come up, use the microphone, state your name and address for the record.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Instead of facing eight of you.
Can you do name and address?
My name is Bob McClay. I live at 38 11th Street North, Brigantine, New Jersey, on the 5th green, 6D, for 26 years. I think it's important to talk to the public where there's hundreds of people looking as opposed to talking to you. No disrespect.
Well, it is a council meeting, so.
And that's true, but I just wanted, maybe we could change the camera so that people could see it in a different way. It's been very hard for me not to come here. As you know, my wife ran for mayor of Brigantine. I sat up here on the rec board, and this is the first time I've got up here to speak since you actually called me at my home when I was on the Recreation Commission, and you asked me to speak in favor of some things that you wanted me to speak about. And I answered my phone in my garage, and I certainly did, and I believed in it. Otherwise, I would have never got up here, okay? So, a few things. Number one, when it comes to Mr. Pucci and everybody worrying, or not worrying, but looking forward to having the agenda All you need is an iPhone. Take a picture of the agenda, post it on Facebook, it's easy. Technology anymore, Ed, I know you're a smart guy, and Mr. Cerny, how are you? My name's, but it's so simple to do that. All the technical glitch you're having, if the people aren't doing it, fire them, get them out, because a city like Brigantine, and what we're trying to sell them in the real estate business in this island, we should be doing things smack on, okay? I would like to also think, I've wanted to say this for a long time, I think that these pews here and all the money that we spend as taxpayers should be comfortable, and they should put something down custom, so when people sit here, they're comfortable. I think it's a great idea. Okay, getting to the golf course. I also would like to say that as an island, we are 1 block from the beach. I've been a surfer my whole life. Grew up in Ventnor, New Jersey, born in 1960, Dorset Ventnor Avenue, came here in '74. I love Brigantine. I love this golf course. I played it today, Andy, I saw it, right?
You okay?
I am okay, but I think that the suits and everything are costumes, and I think that it would be a great idea in the summertime to convey to the people on this island and all our visitors or potential buyers, since Brigantine's always been under the radar, to wear like a casual shirt and be, you know, easygoing, because that's the kind of island we are. When I heard about, I've wanted to come down here a million times, because, you know, I know a scam when I hear one, and everybody loves Mike Morgan. I want to make Mike, your family, unbelievable. You're all great people. I grew up with Alan, all these guys sitting right here. But I also want to say that who is Meadowbrook, Phil? When you say Meadowbrook, that's like saying, you know, Steve Wynn. How many levels of management and who are Meadowbrook? Can you answer me?
Meadowbrook is the management company that operates the golf course.
And how many golf courses do they operate in the United States?
Well, this time, I'm not sure. They may be down.
Does anyone know how many golf courses they run?
More, us.
We should know that, because other than the beach, is very important, is their second largest draw here, a course that was built in 1927. Who is running our golf course? Because I can tell you one thing, after working, opening resorts in 1978, and being in management to Tropicana since 1981, whether it's Dennis Gomes, Jim Perry, Tony Rodeo, if you're running one of their businesses, or Andy, you're the vice president of that business, and you're gonna, or Vince, and you're running the golf course to be profitable for the shareholders as you would for the taxpayers, if you're not doing the job, you won't last a week. And that's the way the economy is. And I love Tom. I know everyone that works in that golf course. Both my sons did. But who is Meadowbrook? Who are they? I'm asking you a question, and because you've jumped the concession, and I think that it's great, you know, and someone asked, nobody was up here to come and get a deal here for working the, to have the food and beverage. How do you know that any other business on this island, from Ernest & Son or Senior Rattlers or anybody wouldn't want to come to get a deal for $1,000 a month, which is a joke, to come and have that business to make it competitive, strong, like the library is out there, that mess out there in Egg Harbor Township. But who are they? Is there a president? Nathan's great. We all love him. We know he does a good job, but who is Meadowbrook?
The corporation that runs golf courses.
And how many people, who's the CEO of Meadowbrook? I'm not being funny. Who are they? I live on the golf course. I have an interest in this. Who are they?
They're a corporation based in Florida. They've run our golf course for a number of years. They had a number of golf courses when we hired them. I think they may be down to just us at this point, and the corporation is much smaller than it was.
And that is certainly a benchmark as to how the golf course industry is. And I heard Andy speak, and I wanted to come. I think we should all meet on the 18th hole tonight, sing Kumbaya, hold hands. It's great the way things are, but that's not the way business works.
5 minutes are
Okay?
out.
Thank you.
If you could sum up.
Well, I just like to, my point was that in this business, of the golf course business, you drop the ball, no pun intended, with Jaworski. I talked to, yeah, okay, Andy, you're gonna laugh at me? I talked to Augie Cipollini, I talked to presidents that run these hotels, and the synchronicity between all the football players, athletes that would have worked in Brigantine, the real estate values, real estate struggles on this island.
Bob, 5 minutes are up.
Okay, well, I've heard a lot of people come up here for a long time and speak.
Right.
But I tell it like it is. And the last time you called me is for you called me and you wanted me to come here and speak about something that you were interested in. But I think we need to do the right thing, Vince. I believe in you.
Bob, I don't recall calling you, but once
Oh,
again,
I'm
you're-
sure you don't, but I can tell you right now.
Well,
you
we're at
did.
5
No
minutes.
big deal. I was
And-
very big part of this island for a long time.
I appreciate your comments.
Okay. Yeah, what? Okay. Watch all 5 minutes. I'll be back.
Good. Okay, anyone else for public comment? Okay, seeing none, I'm going to close the public portion. At this time, do we have any council comments?
I just have a couple of public service announcements, if I may. Memorial Day weekend, if anyone here or anyone at home listening is having a yard sale, the Green Team is sponsoring the citywide yard sale by creating a virtual map. So anyone could come to the city website or the Green Team website and download a map of all the yard sales. So if you are having a yard sale and you would like to be part of the virtual map, just email your address to brigyardsale2015@gmail.com. And the deadline for that is May 17th.
2015, can we have that again?
brigyardsale2015@gmail.com. And we need that information, your address, by May 17th, because we have to create the map. I mean, it's in progress, but we need the dates by the 17th. And Rick also mentioned about the dune grass planting. Again, that's the 16th, 9 a.m. Bring a spade or a wooden spoon. And this year, just a reminder for everyone, the farmers market starts September 23rd. It'll be 16 straight Saturdays.
May 23rd. May 23rd.
I'm sorry, what did I say?
September.
I'm sorry, September. May 23rd. And it is a plastic bag-free market, so BYOB, bring your own bag. And we started building a community garden, one of our Green Team projects. And if there's anyone out there that loves gardening and you want to be a part of growing some vegetables, and we have 9 beds, and we're going to finish it off tomorrow, hopefully, or this week. If anyone wants to volunteer, just send an email to brigantinegreenteam@outlook.com, and we'll get you on that list to volunteer for the community garden. That's it.
John, now that the volunteer build for Shark Park has concluded, how do folks get their tools back?
The volunteer committee is returning all tools this week and the next week.
I mean, they bring them to people, or do we
Yes, they'll bring
go
them to
get
your
them?
house. And we are continuing to work on Shark Park. So if anybody wants to volunteer during the week, Public Works is down there 5 days a week until it's done.
I've been down Shark Park a few times. It is amazing what they're doing down there. It is just amazing. And if you can, get down and help them out.
The volunteers did a great job the week
Oh,
and a half that they were
it's
there.
amazing what
Paul-
has been
Paul
done.
was- Paul was unbelievable.
Yeah,
Paul was there 24 hours a day.
yes.
Okay, any other council comments? Okay. I too want to commend all the volunteers for Shark Park. It's an ambitious project. It's very large in scope, and there was a great turnout all week and over the weekend. And it will continue until it's finished. I know Ed Stinson's involved in trying to organize some things along with John and Paul to complete the project. So it'll move forward, but it was a great outpouring of support from the community. And I know Vince was down there for hours closing the place every night, and the work that he did. And Joe, by the way, I did use your circular saw.
Got all your fingers?
It worked quite well, yes. But that will continue, and it will get completed and hopefully up and running soon, because it's amazing the use it gets, especially during baseball season, is younger siblings are over at Shark Park, where older siblings are playing softball or baseball, so it's a good thing. With that said, any other council comments, manager comments? We need another executive session?
No, you don't have the maps.
I think he does. You want to do the, you comfortable doing that now?
No, come on. Let's-
Yeah, I mean, I suppose we could, Mayor. I mean, we'd have a little more detail if we did it on the special meeting.
Well, it's up to council. Would you rather do the another executive session tonight to get an update?
I'd rather get it over with tonight, if it's possible,
Okay.
than a special meeting.
Okay. Anyone else?
Well, how important, I mean, the detail's going to hamper you if, without the visuals that you wanted to do? You think?
Yeah, we've been working this file for a while, so I can put it together for you.
Okay.
Okay.
We have some additional litigation that needs to be discussed, but we ran out of time in the first executive session to give it the thorough discussion that it needed. So it sounds like we do need another executive session to discuss matters concerning litigation. And before we do that, Chief, do you have another announcement?
Yes, the police department has partnered with Sheriff Ballas and the Atlantic County Sheriff's Department with a project called Operation Lifesaver. What this program is if you have a loved one that has either Alzheimer's, dementia, Down syndrome, or autism, they will come over and put a bracelet on, either a wrist bracelet or ankle bracelet. If they go missing, you notify the police department. In turn, we notify the sheriff's department. They will send officers over with tracking devices, trying to locate.
Are the bracelets meant to be, I don't mean permanently worn, but can they take like bathing and stuff like that?
Yes, they're
Okay.
waterproof. They have a tough time. The only way to get them off is to cut them off.
Okay.
And they'll come out and change the batteries every 6 months. The sheriff's department will come out and change the batteries. All you have to do is call the police department, or call the sheriff's department. It's up on the website.
To initiate the search?
Yes, and they'll, well, to get the bracelet put on, they'll actually come out and put the bracelets on.
Well, I want to thank Sheriff Ballas for putting that together and for you to be part of the program. Okay, Ed, do you have anything else? Okay. Need a motion to retire to executive session for matters of litigation.
I'll make that motion.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Lynn, if you would read the resolution to retire to executive session?
Whereas the Open Public Meeting Act permits the exclusion of the public from a meeting in certain circumstances, and whereas this public body is of the opinion that such circumstances presently exist, and whereas the governing body wishes to discuss matters of litigation, minutes will be kept, and once the matter involving confidentiality of the above no longer requires that confidentiality, then the minutes can be made public. Now therefore be resolved that the public be excluded from this meeting. This resolution shall take effect immediately.
Thank you, Lynn. We will come back out after executive session. Fred, do you anticipate us taking any action out here when we return?
No.
No. Okay, but we will close the meeting in public. I want to thank everyone who attended this evening and for those of you watching at home.